GingerGM.
The white pieces. So I'm white here against Gawain Jones. And Gawain always plays the King's Indian defence against me. And I must admit, personally, I don't like playing against the King's Indian defence. It's probably my least favourite opening as white that I don't want to play against, because black is always the one who gets the initiative. Black gets, if you want to get initiative with black and you want to attack, this opening is kind of perfect. Just attack, attack, attack. And I've never found a line as white, really, where you can get a good attack as white, where you can put the pressure onto black's position. Hello, Gimpy783. And yes, we might well do those things with ducks later on. Hey ho, if we're in a good mood. So the only line I could think of where I could get the initiative as white is the 4 pawns. So I went e4, d6, main line. Now you can play lines with bishop g5, as Thick Cheddar is saying. Love the name. But I don't even know if they're quite aggressive. I always find if I go bishop g5 at some moment, a very good response to the bishop coming here in the King's Indian defence is c5. Maybe not straight away, maybe after castles, but I always find c5 is a good move. And my bishop here can be a little bit out of play. In actual fact, I think Korchnoi played bishop g5 against me when I played the King's Gambit. I got a very good position. But the 4 pawns is probably the most aggressive line. I played Gawain 2 months ago, and I played a line I recommended in my DVD, but it didn't go so well. So anyway, I got a draw in that line, but we both wanted to try to win in the morning game because it was our chance to win the tournament and €1,000. So Gawain now picked the main line against f4, and he picked c5, and against the 4 pawns, this is meant to be the best move. Now taking on c5 is not very good. Killian is saying h3 and g4. Yeah, I've always found, Killian, that is an okay, but it's a bit more positional. I mean, there's no lines. This is the thing. There's no lines as white where you can attack black's king easily. That's the whole point. And in every other variation I play with white, with d4, 1d4, I know loads of lines where you can get an attack, but not against the King's Indian. It's always black who gets the initiative. But okay, this is maybe the best chance, I thought. So I went d5, and now black castles, and I develop knight to f3. And in this position, if black doesn't play his next move, then black's position doesn't make any sense. He needs to play his next move. Otherwise, I've got more space. I've got this lovely centre, and I can just develop. I can bring my bishop out, castle, and the main move that I want to play is e5, basically e5 at some moment. So black has to play e6. It's the only way for black to get activity, but it's a very good move. When you play c5, you normally combine it with e6. You want to play both of these moves. Now in this position, there's a couple of lines. You can either go bishop e2, but here black will take on d5, and if you take with the e pawn, black is absolutely fine. There's no way you can attack. It's more testing to try to take with this pawn, but then rook to e8, and already black is getting good pressure against the position. So I don't like this line. The other main line is taking on e6, but again here black gets very good development. He can even go bishop takes, but even pawn takes is okay. Either of these moves, and again I don't like these positions. So there's a really rare line here that I thought Gawain Jones might not be prepared for, and that was e5. It's an old sacrificial line. I think it was maybe not that old, but I remember it was given by Bologan, who's an expert on the King's Indian defence in one of his books. And the point is just to give up a pawn, but to get some kind of initiative, quick development. So now black really has to take that pawn. So Gawain did. I recaptured back. Knight g4, trying to threaten that pawn. Now obviously if I can keep my pawns in the centre of the board like this, I'm going to be okay. But they are very weak, and I think if I try to hang on to them with bishop f4, it's not so good, because black can just go knight bd7, and that pawn is too weak. It is going to drop. You don't want to play passively here. So the only way to play this position is with bishop g5. Developing, gaining a tempo, attacking. Gawain now played queen a5, and here this pawn is a goner, so I need to go for quick development. So bishop e2. Gawain now took on d5 first. I take back, and now he wins the pawn. Knight takes e5. So he's a pawn up, and I castle. And this is the kind of position I was aiming for. Now, I'm a very aggressive player. Whenever I, well, not always, but generally, when I play the opening, I always have some idea, some aggressive idea in the opening middle game that I want to play. And this is the kind of thing I'm aiming for. Yes, I've given up a pawn, but where is my compensation? Well, you guys, where's my compensation? Let me ask you. If you're white here, well, I am white, where is white's compensation? Or do I have none at all? I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if it's quite enough compensation, but it's 9:30 in the morning and it's an island. And that, for me, is enough compensation. That is good compensation. That is great compensation. I don't need any more compensation than that. That's just good enough. Okay, well, Scobell has pointed out the d5 pawn. Yes, this pawn is very dangerous. Boom, boom, boom. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now, Miss Singer, or M Singer 24, has pointed out better development. So has Mu Tu Mun. So has C4 Explosive. The better development, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces developed. So I think this is really it. I mean, I have 4 pieces developed. I have a passed pawn, so it must be some compensation. Whether it's enough, I don't know. And yeah, I mean, basically in the morning, whenever I'm playing Gawain, he's such I was also taking into consideration at the moment what his strengths are. He's very good when he's got the initiative, so I wanted to get the initiative. Okay, so what happened here? Well, Gawain now played a very interesting move, queen b4, moving his queen again. So what's his idea? Well, his idea is to go knight takes knight, and then queen d4 check, and exchange off the queens. So he wants to get his queen to d4 and exchange off the queens. Now, I don't know what is the right move, but I think my next move is very logical. I avoid his idea, and in chess you've got to avoid your opponent's ideas and keep trying to improve your ideas. So I move my queen to c1. I stop any queen exchange, and most importantly, I have ideas of moving my bishop to h6, trying to get rid of these 2 bishops. Why do I want to get rid of those bishops? Because that will weaken the protection of my opponent's king. I'm trying to checkmate his king. So Gawain now played knight takes f3 check, and I think here I played a slight mistake. I think I should take with a bishop. Much more logical move. But I went rook takes f3 because I had ideas of playing rook to f4, and then rook to h4, bishop to h6, bishop takes g7, queen to h6, and queen to h7 checkmate. It's always good to have a plan. Even if you have a bad plan, it's better to have a bad plan. I basically wanted to get this rook to h4. Okay, seems alright to me. So Gawain now played rook to e8, and here maybe I started to go wrong, but it got very interesting. I went for the most aggressive line, always. Bishop b5, attacking the rook. Gawain played bishop d7, and now a3, attacking the queen. Now my point is, if he goes queen b3, what am I going to play here? You tell me. What is my idea? If he moves his queen to b3, well, I probably have more than one idea. But what was my idea? Can you see my idea? I'm looking at my opponent's king. My opponent has bad development, so I want to attack. How can I start to create threats? You want to, when you've got the initiative, you want to start creating threats. So how can I start creating threats here? So have a think about it. How would you as white start creating threats? Now, do remember you have a bishop on pre. Your bishop on b5 is on pre. Well done, Scobell. You have pointed out a weakness. And the weakness is indeed f7. And one thing to do when you're playing chess, locate your opponent's weaknesses, create threats against them. And this is exactly what Scobell has done. And Len, that's a long name. Can I just call you Leng Ju Yen? Yang Ju Yen, completely correct. The correct move here would be queen to f4. I bring my queen. My queen was very bad. on c1. It was out of the game. I bring it into the attack and I target my opponent's weak square, and I want to come into that square with check with a devastating attack. I mean, let's see what could happen here. If my opponent wins the piece, bishop takes b5, I have at least a draw. I can go queen takes f7 check, king to h8, and now I was thinking bishop to f6 is at least a draw, but of course I was hoping I had more than a draw here with 3 pieces attacking. But I think bishop g6 is a good way to start the attack. And I've got at least a draw, so this is okay. Sorry about that, Leng Ju Yen. I'm so bad at pronunciations. We've all got our weaknesses. I've just got too many. Now, okay, after queen f4, if my opponent had played something like f5, okay, I don't mind this move because I've weakened his king. I can maybe even go for h7 now. If I'm going completely crazy, maybe I could go queen h4 and rook h3. But I've weakened his king. I've got a target. But Gawain is a much better player in this. He realised, I mean, I prefer my position here. Maybe black is okay here. But I need to find a good follow-up move. So we can have a look at this a bit more. What should I play now? Okay, well, let's have ideas. I mean, I got this far drawing the game, and I thought, okay, I've got an attack. I've weakened his position. It might not be enough, but this, you've got to go with your instinct when you're playing chess, and this instinctively looks okay. Okay, we have a good suggestion here. Passero is suggesting bishop to c4. I like that. Great suggestion, because now we want to go d6, use our d pawn. We get another piece into the attack. We can see that this is getting more dangerous as we go on. So certainly is getting more dangerous. I like it. But the difference between amateur players and stronger players is that stronger players can sense the danger. So Gawain saw that he just didn't want to allow my queen in here. Why should he let my queen in here? And like I say all the time, chess is about restraining your opponent's ideas whilst continuing your own ideas. So why should he let my queen go there? He shouldn't. There's no reason for him to do that. So he plays queen d4 check. Okay, I move my king, and now we have this very interesting position. If he takes the bishop, my knight comes to this square, and my knight would be very good on that square. Is that a cheer? I don't know if that's a cheer or not. No. Okay, so my opponent now plays a6. And now my idea, the whole idea behind my bishop b5 plan, rook to f4. And I got to this position earlier on. I saw what was coming, but I thought, look, what I'm aiming for when I'm playing a top player is a messy, complicated position. This is where any result is possible. I'm going for a win, no draw. Let's just try to win. And I thought, I've got that. But what did my opponent play now? His next move was a quality move. This was a 26,700 strength move. A kind of move that, of course, we can expect from someone like Gawain Jones. So what did Gawain play here? What did Gawain play in this position? And I'll just give you a chance to have a look at that. I know I should be using a tissue, but I'm streaming and I've got the Bunratty bug. Hey Aldo, how you doing, Aldo? Hope you're doing well, Aldo. Good to see you. Good to see you here. I'm still alive. I don't know if Blair is. I'll have to check up on him soon. Okay, so what should black play here? Imagine you're black. I've just gone rook to f4. I want to maybe swing my rook over to h4 and keep attacking. This is what I want to do. So what should black do? Okay, well, very good. Everyone who has suggested the queen sacrifice, you are completely correct. Gawain took over the initiative. Pawn takes b5. He gives up his queen. And the point is, after I win his queen, we get this crazy position where Gawain, I now have to put my knight onto a very passive square. I think Gawain is doing well here, but it's still very complicated. He has... What does he have? He has a bishop and a rook for the queen. And he has, most importantly, what is the biggest danger to me in this position? This is something when you're playing chess, you have to realise the biggest danger you're facing and the most important assets that you have and that your opponent has as well. So what is black's biggest trump card here? What is the biggest danger to me in this position? It's not the back rank. The back rank, my queen and rook are okay. They cover my back rank. Mary Hatman, hello Martin. You are completely correct. The biggest problem that I'm facing is this d pawn. That d pawn later on. It has no pawns that can get in the way of it, and it is, as Martin has said, backed up by this bishop on g7, so it's very safe, and also potentially by the other bishop. The other bishop can back it up. So this is okay, I like that. Cruz is saying being sober. The biggest danger I was facing on the Sunday morning was sobering up and then thinking, where am I? Where am I? It's Bunratty. But yes, that pawn is really dangerous. So this is why I like black's position, but it gets very interesting. Let's go forward. Gawain developed, and now I do get my queen near to his king. I want to start creating threats, so I want to bring the rook to f1 and try to zoom in on f7. Just create some counterplay. Gawain plays bishop f5, stopping this idea, but I play rook f1 anyway. Maybe at some point I can play g4 and then try to get my queen in. But of course, g4 now is not working so well, because if I ever play g4, black is going to play rook to e4. Let's have a look. So, I don't know, let's say Gawain played knight c5. g4 is a big mistake because of rook e4. And this position is very, very bad for me. Okay. What actually happened? Thank you for the cheer, Peter. That's very kind of you to do a cheer. Cheers for the cheer. Cheers for the cheer. Thank you. So anyway, the game continued. It was fascinating, I think. Rook e4, and now I went queen f3. Gawain brought in his last piece. I love the way that Gawain, who's a quality player, we can learn a lot from Gawain's play. Gawain is coordinating all of his pieces. I mean, this is one of the, Gawain's one of the best players in the world. He's becoming, and one of his real strengths is coordination of this whole army. And here you can see his bishops are sort of coordinating all of his pieces. His rooks are coordinating. His knight is the only piece in which is not coordinating. And when you're playing like this in a game of chess, you need to ask yourself, do I have time to get my pieces working together? Where are my pieces best placed? How do they defend and work together? And a key tip, when you're facing the queen, so when you're playing against the queen, if you've got material for the queen, a key thing to do is to keep your pieces so they defend each other. They want to defend each other, So, against the queen can pick off lone pieces. But if they're all tucked together, this is how you play against the queen. Do we have the time to listen to you whine? Well, I suggest you learn how to spell, son, as a first thing. I mean, whine is not that hard to spell. It really isn't. I mean, I think I was spelling that word at the age of 9, probably. Even though I'm an awful speller. Do I have time to get some wine? That is more of a question when you're playing in Bunratty. That is a serious question. I would have understood it if it was wine. But yeah, okay, the game continued. Well, I have to create some threats myself. So what should I play here? What should I play in this position? I can't just sit here and defend. I need to, when you're playing chess, you need to put pressure on your opponent. I did get it. Sorry, Chess Doctor. I'm very slow today. Wine o'clock. Where is it? Wine o'clock. That's what we're looking for. So what should I do? When you're playing chess, you need to... One of the things I always try to do is create threats. What is my trump? Where are my trumps? What are the things that I can create danger with? So let's have a look at it from me. We've located that the d4 pawn is something I have to be concerned about. What of my opponent's pawn? What is my best trump here? and not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. What is my best trump? Sorry, Chess Doctor. I'm still in a bit of a funny mood today. I think I'm still coming down off Bunratty, and I have got the Bunratty bug. So you know, I'm a moody so-and-so. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. Well, it's not that funny. It's actually pretty horrible. I got back on the Monday night very tired, and I live, you know, I rent a place where I am, and it's attached to another house, and the house it's attached to, we have like little parking areas, and basically I couldn't park my car properly because the neighbour's car was over the parking area. So he came back late at night, about 11 o'clock at night, my neighbour, on the Monday, and I was outside. I said, do you mind if you just move your car back like a couple of feet, because then I can get my car in? And he started effing and blinding. He started, you know, he's a bit of a scallywag, and he came, you know, I don't like the guy, and he came running up to me, and I thought, oh no, here we go. So I had to get ready, thought there was going to be a proper bust up, and nearly had to call the police, and it's not pleasant at the moment. It's not pleasant around here at the moment. So, but anyway, I'm going to Iceland on Sunday. Hopefully, my house will still be in one part when I get back. So, anyway, what is my biggest thing here? Okay, Gabriella Q Patty is saying, yeah, snowball fight, because it is snowing here, funnily enough. Well, my biggest thing is the D pawn. I want to try to create some tactical threats with this pawn. Definitely. Halewood is saying, I'm working, please. Hello, Halewood. Well, you can watch it because you're a premium member. One of the advantages of being a premium member, you get these lovely emotes, so you can see, put that in your pipe, but you can also watch the videos in the archive if you do subscribe to the channel, which is always all right. Okay, so yeah, I've got to use the D pawn. So I went D6, and I thought here any result is possible. I basically thought any result is possible. Win, lose, or draw. Who knows what will happen? I thought that's what we want. So at this point, I thought it's okay. But what did my opponent play? And let's see if we can predict the moves. So what did my opponent play? Well, my opponent now, what is the only piece that he's got which is not coordinating? And this is one thing we can learn from Gawain, is to coordinate his, you know, how we can coordinate our own pieces, because he's so good at this. So what did Gawain play? Cool, that's an interesting emote. I love that emote, Halewood. What is that emote? I love that one. That's a good one. I need to get some more emotes, by the way, designed. I have to ask you guys for suggestions of what emotes to get going, because I've got some more slots, but I need to just find someone to make the designs. Well, anyway, well done to everyone. I can see Panzerka, M. Singer, Gabrielle Kupati, and Cruz 726 has summed it up. What is the only piece of my opponent's which is not coordinating? Thank you so much, Davis Wong, for the cheer. That's very kind. Thanks, man. That's really kind of you to cheer. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you. Well, the knight on A6. This is the only lonely piece. So Gawain now brought that piece into the fire. And this is just a quality move. It just shows everything is coordinating. I did the same. This is my lonely piece, so I brought this into the mix. And now the game continued. H6, bishop E7. I'm trying to block the coordination of these rooks. And if somehow I can push the D6 pawn, I'm going to be laughing. If I can somehow get this pawn up the board, I'm laughing. And again, this position, who is better here? It's very hard to say. I mean, I think now I was feeling more and more confident as the game was going on. But my opponent now used his trump card, D3. So both of our pawns are coming up the board. Whose pawn is stronger? Well, I think at the moment, this pawn is well blockaded by his knight and by his bishop. If somehow I can get rid of these pieces, D7 is a killer move. But his pawn is looking more dangerous. It's, I don't know, it's a very interesting double-edged game. Thank you for the donation, C4 Explosive. Would you play a game against me after this C4 Explosive? Yes, I will. I will play a game. You are what I'm going to do after this game, we're going to play a little bit of 5-minute blitz. I'll play against people who subscribe. I'll try to play you guys in the chat today. I'm only going to do an hour and a half day, get rid of this Bunratty bug, just to let you know I'm still alive. So what happened here? Well, okay, let's have a look. So I brought my knight into the mix. Knight d5. The knight came in. Why not? Let's get the pieces nearer. d2. And now my knight came back. I thought I needed to defend that pawn. And also, I'm trying to get rid of this bishop, which is blockading my queen to f7. So, this is, I don't know, very unclear. My opponent played rook e5, so he can capture here. And now I thought, let's try to put his pieces on the worst squares that I can. So, I went b4. And now this knight is forced to go backwards. I mean, let's say he goes knight b3. What is my winning idea here? What is my winning idea in this position? So it's white to play here. What should white play in this position? Quite simple tactic. Tibra 1989. Hello to you, sir. Thank you for joining in the stream as well. It's great to have people I don't recognise. What happens if you take the pawn with the knight earlier? I don't think that was working. We'll stick with a position at the moment. Perpetual statement. I thought you'd be swimming to Iceland today. I'm actually travelling to Iceland a bit later. I've just got too much work to do, unfortunately. Iceland starts on Tuesday. I think Fiona is going today. I'd love to go to Iceland early. I did this last year, but I've got too much work on at this moment in time. So yeah, I'm going to have to avoid that. But I'm commentating next week from Iceland, so I won't be able to do many streams, but I'll catch up on that afterwards. But you'll make up for it in commentary. Tibra, nice you can't remember. I'm here every time. Sorry, Tibra. I mean, my mind's just not with it today. It really not, as you'll probably see in the games later on. So we have some suggestions. Now, one dodgy suggestion I'm saying is if we go knight takes f5 here, rook takes f5, you've got to be careful of the back spanker. Because now queen takes b3, rook takes here, and that is a checkmate. So we don't want to do that. But what I was planning to do, and I don't know who suggested this, Johnny Boy. Hello, Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy was suggesting d7. This is what I was going to play. I was going to play d7 because, remember, I want to try to get through to the f7 square. So, what do we do? Foghorn? I guess that's Foghorn. Hello, Foghorn. Hello to you, sir. And, well, he has to take the pawn because otherwise I'm going to get a queen. And after bishop takes d7, queen takes here, check. At least now, this looks quite dangerous for my opponent. I've got bishop f6 coming next. I'm attacking. This should be good. So Gawain has to move the knight back to d7. And I have to be honest. Thank you, Daniel Rhodes, 1980, for subscribing. Very, very, very kind of you. And that's what I want. The more people who subscribe, the happier I become. The more I stream when I can. And you can see my things in the archive. Percy Hepworth, Simon, did you see that lame box of Ferrero Rocher that Lawrence bought Jennifer Shahadi, presumably from Tesco Metro? No, I didn't, Percy, actually. We all know Lawrence is a bit of a tightwad. So it's well, what can I say? What can I say about that? His bloody thing. I'll tell you what I might do. At the end of this stream, I might actually have something quite exciting to show you. A lot of people have been asking me, obviously you probably know that I run a chess shop of DVDs basically that you can download to help you improve your game. And one of the things that I make a living from, I don't sell many, but what helps me do more commentary and free stuff is people buying my video. But very excitingly, in the next week or no more than a week now, the new Tigers Modern DVD is going to be ready, and this is really exciting. And I might be able to show you a trailer at the end of this show. So we might be able to do that. We might be able to show you a trailer if it's ready. I'll try to get it up, but that'll be after some blitz, just so you can see our latest DVD. And it's a free trailer. You'll get a free lesson from the best modern player in the world, Tiger Hillet person, Grandmaster from Norway, who even Magnus Carlsen follows his ideas. So we'll do that at the end if it's ready. I'll see if I can get it ready for you guys somehow. So it is getting there anyway. Okay, right. So here I thought, well, if I just get rid of his biggest asset, I'm winning. So I was getting very, very excited here because I thought Queen F2. There's no way he can defend his pawn. When I win that pawn, I'm a queen up, baby. I'm winning. I'm winning, baby. I'm winning. So this is this was what I was thinking. This is great. But now Gawain showed his class. What is the only move that Gawain has here to keep in the game? He only has one move to keep in the game. Otherwise, he's in serious trouble here. And he found it. And I was a bit short of time, and it came as a bit of a shock. So I'll give you a chance to answer that. Imagine you're black. What is black's best move here? It's a great move. Perpetual stalemate. Simon, is the Ginger Academy coming soon? We're working on it. We're working on a new website, which I'm really hoping is going to revolutionise the way we do things. It's going to be something where we're going to be offering courses. I don't want to give too much away, but courses which we're going to try to make as interactive as possible. Mainly, I don't want to give too much away, but we're doing some good stuff. We're trying to make some games to go alongside it, loads of exciting things, but it takes a lot of work, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist myself, so I don't want to release the new website until I'm very happy with it. Do you have to be ginger to apply for the Ginger Academy? You don't have to be, but it does help. It does help. You get extra ginger coin points for that. Okay, how can I breathe underwater? Well, you know what? I'm one of those like mermen you hear about, these mythical ginger creatures that live underwater and play chess at grandmaster level occasionally, something like that. Okay, anyway, so no one's found the move yet. Bishop d3 is not the right move, because if you play bishop d3, you're letting me into f7, and I think queen to f7 check is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Maybe this is okay for black, but there's a better move. There's a better move. This is too risky. There is a better move. And let's now think. This shows the pure class of GingerGM. GingerGM? That's me. I meant Gawain Jones, not the pure class of me. I don't have that much class. The pure class of Gawain Jones. Because Gawain now... What was I saying? It's the coordination of his pieces. The coordination of all of his pieces. I'm going to play queen takes d2. So how can my opponents prepare for that move? How can he prepare for that move? No one's found the right move yet. So I'm going to give you a little bit more time. So what does he want to do when I go queen takes? Kai Burton. Is it Kai Burton? Well done, sir. You are a legend. I think Stilly had the right idea, but Kyle Burton, well done. And I'm actually, just while I blow my nose, I'm just going to put you on another screen. I don't like blowing my nose when there's all you guys watching. So let me just put you on another screen while I blow my nose. I hope you don't mind. Hang on a minute. So I've just got to blow my nose. Oh, is Harry being pushed? That's a bit of a... Yes, Harry is being pushed. In this position, the best move and a quality move, h5. And the idea of this is to put the bishop on h6, when the bishop, it's all about the coordination. The bishop was not doing anything on g7 anymore. It's hitting at air. It's not doing anything. Every piece must have a purpose. Ask yourself, what is the bishop doing? Nothing. But after I took on d2, bishop h6, all of a sudden the bishop is hitting. It's hitting at pieces. It's hitting the knight on e3. It's pinning me. It's got a real purpose. It's a great move, and this shows real quality. And this is what I was talking about, where, you know, earlier on, about Gawain being the player he is, one of the best players in the world. He really does coordinate his pieces so well. And look at what happened now. Let's see if you can play along. Rook to e1. And now what does my opponent play? Again, try to think like Gawain. He's got this lovely pin on my bishop. Now, I was hoping I have two moves, because in this position, if I can move my queen back to f2, I get out of the pin, and then I can play knight takes f5. If I can play queen f2, knight takes here, I will be winning. So this is what I'm trying to do. How does black stop that? And think about the theme of my opponent's play. My opponent has, what of his pieces are good? The bishop is fantastic, so don't touch that bishop. This is how you should be thinking when you're trying to improve your own chess as well. What about the rook there? Good. The rook there is good. It's doing a good job. What about the bishop on f5? This is okay. It's doing an okay job. The knight is okay. It's blockading. The only piece which is not working is the rook on e8. And I can see that some of you are finding the right answers. Kai, you're doing very well. Stelly, you're doing very well. Bring in your inactive pieces to more active squares. The rook comes to the open file. And now, to my horror, I saw that I can't play queen to f2. Why can't I play queen to f2? Why can't I play queen to f2 in this position? And while I let you answer that, I'm just going to try to see if Tigers Modern will be ready at the end of this. Excuse me while I do this. Okay, so let's see if we can get this ready. Okay, so give me the whole combination. Give me the whole combination if you can here, please. What is the whole combination that black should play? Because black can win a piece here, and I actually think my position is traumatic. Traumatic? I like that word in chess. A traumatic position I have now. So what is the way to play? Now, one thing I'm going to be doing in future, in case some of you are interested as well, is I want to do some lessons online where I want to do a live stream where I play, I maybe look at someone's games for free and help you on. I'm going to try to do this with Aldo, but I'm probably going to try to do this with some other guys. So if you're interested, give me an email. If you can't find my email, you're obviously not interested enough. Okay, so most of you have got the right idea. Yes, it is a back spanker. I see. Hi Simon, this is from Pisson. Maybe someone already asked you, but were you half an hour late for the game against Gawain? Well, I was very fortunate. I did tell the story at the start. The game started at 9:15. I probably went to bed at, well, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that late, but it was early. And I got a phone call 20 minutes into the game saying, Simon, where are you? I'll tell you a very funny story that happened to a friend of mine at Bunratty. While you think about, well, everyone can see the tactics. Just to remind you about the party. This is what was going on at the party, you know, on the Thursday night. This was actually at someone's house. This amazing scene. But I'll tell you a very funny story. My friend, who is the co-sponsor of Bunratty, Blackthorn Transport, sponsors Bunratty. They basically do any logistical things to Russia, mainly. If you want to get anything in and out of Russia, then give them a call. But he defaulted a number of times, and on the Saturday morning one year, he was there asleep in his bed, and the arbiters noticed he wasn't at the board, and there's a default time of basically half an hour. Now, after 15 minutes, the arbiters can't wake him up because the arbiters can't get involved with the game. It's against the FIDE rules, but who gives a damn about that, to to ring a person's room and to wake them up, because you as an arbiter can't give help to a player. So one of these arbiters may have had a word with someone else, and said, look, I can't ring him, but you can. I think that's allowed. It is in Bunratty. So this person rung up my friend on the phone, and said, look, you've got to get up out of bed, because you're going to lose the game on default in 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. So my friend, who had set his phone, he'd turn his phone on, run down to the board, and was there at the board, because he got this phone call. But that was only one arbiter had done this. Now, when one arbiter was trying to get someone to call him, the other arbiter had gone away. He'd sneaked off outside to give him a phone call so no one could see him phoning him, because if he got seen phoning him, it would be against the rules. So one arbiter had got a friend to phone him. The other arbiter had walked around the back to phone him. So my friend was at the board, all bleary-eyed, and then he gets a bloody phone call. He's just sat down, he's played one move, and his phone goes off, and he's like, oh, bloody hell. And he defaults the game. Now, who is phoning him? It's the other arbiter who's gone around to the back of the building to give him a phone call. So he made it. One arbiter got someone else to phone him. He got to the board. He left it. He kept his phone on him because he was so tired. And then he got another phone call from the other arbiter at his board telling him to get out of bed. It's just hilarious, I think. It's just a really funny tournament. So he goes, I'm going back to bed. I'm going back to bed now. So, I thought that was quite a funny story. It's a true story. I mean, it's a fun tournament. Look, it's not a serious tournament. It's not FIDE rated. It's more of a fun, sociable, have a laugh. Sit at the board with a pint. I mean, one of my friends was drinking, you can probably guess who, Aldo, large gin and tonics for the morning game. On the Saturday, and then large Bloody Marys for the morning game on the Sunday. I mean, obscene, should we say? Obscene. Okay, anyway, if you go Queen F2, back to the game, there is a problem with the back rank. I only need one more move, and then I will get a winning position. But why do they care about FIDE rules? Well, I think it's the rules, Steely. If you are basically, if you're an arbiter, you've got to stick to the rules of arbiting. You know, you don't want to get in trouble. Some, too good so-and-so might complain. You never know. You're an arbiter, and these guys are international arbiters as well, so they want to do it as officially as they can. Okay, anyway, so Queen F2. The problem is, I only need one more move, but it's Black's move, and Black can now go just Bishop takes here, Rook takes, and then come down with Rook to C1. And it should be easy to see here that it's game over. So now Black has taken control. I played H3 because I want to play Queen to F2. And now I think it's just finding my opponent's moves, because my opponent, if he lets me play one safety first move to get out of the pin, it's game over. So he has pressure on him. He doesn't have time to play a slow move. He's got to play with violence. What is Black's best move here? What should Black play in this position? What would you play if you were Black in this position? What should Black play now at this moment in time? And remember, let's try to play like a 2680. Gawain Jones will be 2700 strength soon. He's clearly strong enough. So let's see if we can play like one of the best players in the world. Well done to Martin. Well done to everyone who has found the right move. And the right move here is, of course, the most active move, Rook to C2. Why is this the right move? Oh, thank you so much for the donation there. That's incredibly kind of you for the donation. And the donation is from X-Starlet, long-time YouTube lurker. Nice to see you live for once. Well, nice to see you live, especially when you donate, of course. But thank you so much for the donation. Thank you. I'm giving you a virtual handshake. Thank you, sir. That's very kind of you. Cheers. And, of course, All of these are most appreciated. Any way you can support me, I appreciate a lot, and it will help me do more of these things in future. Now I have to really move my queen d4, and I was thinking about the ending. I was thinking about going queen takes c2, but I did not like this ending because after he takes my queen, knight takes here, I thought he just plays a move like rook d5. Now it is equal on material, but my bishop is very, very bad. My knight is very bad. How do I get these pieces into the game? I always want to find good... When you got knights, you always need to find good routes. And my knight here doesn't have a good route. It can't really move very well. My bishop may look good, but black is just going f6 and king f7. So maybe I should have played this. I said this to Gawain afterwards, but it was better than what I played. But black has the advantage. So, well, good suggestion. Good suggestion from Scobell and from Weinberg as well. So I don't know. This would have been interesting, yeah. Instead, I got greedy, queen d4. I was very short of time. That's what happens when you turn up nearly half an hour late. And in this position, after queen to d4, what is the winning plan for black now? And black now finished the game off very, very nicely. What is the winning plan for black? So what did black play in this position? So let me know. What is the winning plan for black in this position? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone know? Anyone know what the winning plan is for black? It's a very good plan for black. What is the plan? Well, think again. You need to increase the pressure. My knight is in a horrible pin. Let's think logically. That knight... Well, the idea, if knight takes c2 is possible, maybe that's okay. I mean, now, if you play rook to e4, this is probably an error, because now I can take on c2, and I think I'm going to be material up, because if you take the queen, I've got the extra exchange. So rook to e4 is not the right idea. No. Just think about this pin. This pin could be very, very strong. Should be very, very strong. While I'm doing this, I'm trying to upload this Tiger trailer so I can excite you at the end of the show with the Tiger trailer. But hopefully I can get this ready. It might mean me messing about for a minute or two on air. Grizzly Grizu, well done. You're the first person, I think, to get the right idea. Really, just think logically. Again, the rook on e5 is a very good piece. Don't move that rook. Why would you want to move your best piece? This piece is doing a fantastic job. Your bishop is doing a good job, but your rook on c2 is the problem piece. Now, I can see some flashy ideas of rook to c1, but there is a check at the end here. So, for example, if I go rook takes c1, bishop takes e3, it might look good for black, but I have rook c8 check, and in actual fact, white is probably winning here, because I've got rid of your dangerous pawn that was coming down the board. But the winning idea is to move the rook on c2. What's the best square to move the rook? Well, the best square and the winning move is rook c4, because the rook is coming to e4, and every move has a purpose. Play with a purpose. Play with some idea in mind. And queen a7, and now rook to e4. And now I'm losing a piece, and I'm in trouble here. The game ended. Let's get on to some blitz, shall we? Check. King h7. I thought I'd take some pawns. My opponent finished the game excellently, and he finished with check, and now rook e2 check, bishop e6, and here bishop e3 check, king here, rook here check, king here, and now rook here. And in this position I did resign, because what is black's deadly threat in this position? I mean, there's probably a number of ways that black could have won there at the end, But this is very nice. I mean, the rook, this is something else. Another little bit of advice, a little bit of a tidbit of advice. Thank you, PPRTS, for subscribing. That's very kind of you. And you've subscribed for 5 months in a row now. So thank you. Hopefully you enjoy the stream. So cheers. Cheers for the subscription there. That does indeed help me continue with what I want to continue with doing. Streaming. And what is Black's idea? I mean, a little bit of tidbit I was going to give you is the rook coordinates best with bishops. Rook and bishops is a deadly combination. Deadly combination. It is so strong. So what is, and Weinberg, you've spotted a threat. There's no way here I can stop bishop to c4 and then rook to c1, checkmate. I can't do anything, so I resigned in this position. I mean, Black could do it the other way around, as CWM Reich has said. You can also go check, and you can win the queen with bishop to c4. They're both very strong.